Hey guys, so I wanted to teach you about sits. I know we've kind of already talked about it and you're kind of already doing it, but I want you to be aware of how to hold or get him to hold an automatic sit. So basically what I do, and obviously he's a little excited because there's another dog outside so I can film this without just much distraction. Okay, so what I've been practicing is getting him to be more on my left side because I need him to have that position regularly. Come here, bud. Now, what I'm also doing is because he's kind of flailing out where he's trying to come around and be in front of me, kind of like that, but obviously he's distracted by something else. So, what I'm doing is I'm using my couch or my hallway to get him to be more consistent with holding the position. So what I basically do is I line him up so this way he's standing. Now, the first thing that I do, no, buddy, you're not going outside. Let's go. The first thing that I do is obviously I get him kind of positioned where we're parallel together. I have the leash in my left hand completely. And what I'm doing is I take it all into my right hand. Now, I take it probably about 4 to 6 inches above the dog's head. So this way I have complete control with my right hand. And then with my left hand, I kind of just cup my fingers a little bit, where when I'm pulling up slightly, I'm pushing down slightly. Sit on his hip bones. And the reason I do that is because if a dog is consistently listening to an SIT in non-distracting areas, that's great. But when he's not listening in distracting kind of environments, I have to put a little bit more physical pressure on him to get him to respond and listen. Now, I'm not shoving him down and I'm not pulling up with like a lot of intensity. I'm basically just getting his head to go up so his butt goes down at the same time. As soon as that happens, I release pressure completely from both directions. Sit. So this way he doesn't feel any pressure when he's actually in the behavior that I want. Break. And then what I do is I just get him standing again, and then I practice it again. Sit. Good. Where he's, again, just parallel with me and against the couch, so this way he doesn't fan out. Now, in the end, hopefully I never have to actually do much more than just tell him when I stop and I break, I'm going to have him sit. Shh. Good. I don't know what you're doing, bud. No. Sit. Good. Because I don't want it to be a situation where eventually you have to use pressure, but I want you to be aware of how to use it. Now, I haven't gotten him to the point where I can have him SIT out on a walk yet, but it's only day 3 at this point, and he's only really gone on 1 or 2 walks. Consistently good walks, so this way he's able to practice that. At the same time, I've been focusing more on getting him to be able to walk without pressure. And there's another video that I'm sending to you on this email that's going to talk about the leash. So what I also do is make sure that when I am working with him, when I say break, he's not actually walking forward until I say let's go. And the reason being is because I don't want my dog to start walking forward unless I've dictated it. I want them to be able to just stand up, break, let's go. So this way they stop, but they're standing. So this way they don't automatically just start walking into the middle of the street, because ultimately what we want to do is keep it safe. Is we don't want them to have the dictation of saying the dictation. We don't want him to have the decision making where he's just gonna bolt onto the street where he might be run over by a car or something, bad like that. So you wanna, again, I always make sure that I'm standing up as straight as possible. Good boy. We've been practicing this, so he's kind of got the routine down with this kind of context. But again, you want the whole leash in your left hand in the beginning. Switch to your right. Slight pressure up on the leash itself in a direct upward motion. And then cupping your fingers so they're kind of like that of a claw, and then just putting slight pressure on his rear end where his hip bones are. So this way you're getting his butt to kind of move into that position. As soon as that starts happening, that's when I say SIT. and I release all pressure. If I need to, I can reinforce it by actually having the situation where if he gets up, I can automatically go back into that position. And then what I do with the last is make sure that the leash goes into my left hand again. So I'm starting and stopping in the exact same position. Let's go. Now here's another thing. Because I didn't tell him to SIT in that moment, I'm not going to release him from the command because ultimately I didn't start. So I'm not going to stop a command just because he did it on his own, which is wonderful because again, that's what an automatic sit is, but it's not where I've dictated what I need him to do. Let's go. Nope, let's go. Good. Switching, pressure, sit. Good. Now obviously he's a little distracted at this moment because the dog is outside that he wants to go outside and engage with, but at the same time I'm working on getting him to be able to listen, even if it's just 1 or 2 commands in a row, to commands while there are distractions around. And for him, that's a really big distraction. Break. Standing up. Sit. Good.